Everything feels so abstract. Yeah, it's complicated. What you say, the way you act, well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. How it hurts to see you smile, like a dagger in me. She just seems so juvenile. I just want it to be me. I wanna set your world on fire. Oh, you're so sure I'll stick around. Oh, my heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be.
Hey there, welcome back. Thank you so much for following me all the way over to this studio or this YouTube video. I'm so glad you guys have brought yourselves over to the side of the interwebs. We are, let me see, we're kind of disappointed, but Barely Art was not able to make it this evening. However, they were so kind to actually video them talking about Cards for Cubs while making a card. So I know that can be a little bit difficult. Sometimes I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, much less talk about an important cause as Cards for Cubs while making a card. So I'm going to show you that video in just a second, but I wanted to give you a little bit of background of our relationship with Bearly Art. Bearly Art has partnered with Cardmaker Success Summit from almost the very beginning. We were super excited to be one of their brand ambassadors, if you will, for Cards for Cubs. And in our membership, the Cardmaker Success membership, in January, we decided that we were going to, as a group, collectively create cards for Cubs. And how it worked was they would send their cards into me each month, and we would have a competition to see which squad could donate the most cards, and then we would give them a little prize or something at the end of the month. And our initial goal for 3 months, because we just did it from January, February. Actually, I think we started in December. Anyway, it was just 3 months worth of cards. And our initial goal was to donate 8,000 cards. I thought, well, with the number of people that we have in our membership and so forth, so on, I thought we could do 1,000. Well, the members really knocked my socks off, and we actually doubled that. So we donated over 2,000 cards to Cards for Cubs. And I'm so thrilled and proud of our members for being able to step up and do that. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all of the details because personally, I know I will mess it up. So I'm going to bring on, and we're going to share screen here, and you guys can hear it straight from Jeremy and Andrea. Let me see if I can share screen here. And there we go. All right. Enjoy, everybody.
And welcome to this very special. Hi everyone, and welcome to this very special project for CMSS. We're so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Brandy, for having us.
Today we are representing Cards for Cubs.
Indeed.
So excited, which we've been part of CMSS before and
Several times before.
Yeah. And so I love the tradition that we just keep going on. So Thank you guys so much. In fact, it's not just that we're on here, doing a little live. We are actually really happy to say that you guys have been so generous to CFC.
CFC, yeah. There's a lot of acronyms, and we get a little confused sometimes with all the C's. Yes. CFC for Cards for Cubs. Mm-hmm. And yes, we are coming to you a little bit pre-recorded as well. So we're coming at you from the past. From the past.
Yes. So by the time you see this, it'll be nearing the end of March. That's okay because we still have a lot to work together with. Last year actually was really great because 200 people from the Cardmaker Success Summit sent in cards and really helped us raise a lot of cards for the kids and young adults in foster care. So that's why we're extra excited to be back this year.
Yes, indeed. And that's the thing, is like all the people that come from the event itself usually donate around 10% of cards every year. So we're really, really thankful for all of you. And of course, we have to be really thankful too for the Cardmaker Success membership, who has donated for this year about 2,300 cards and counting. So thank you so much for all those members that are part of that and for getting us all the cards that we could need.
Yes, this is gonna be great. The numbers are just rising. We're raising a lot of cards, and we're so excited. So if you don't know CFC, Cards for Cubs, if you don't know CFC, we are a nonprofit that raises handmade cards for kids and young adults in foster care to give them a little love, a little encouragement, and kindness during a hard time in their lives.
Yes, exactly. So anyways, we've got a few different things that we'll be doing here today in this little pre-recording as well. Bring the stuff over here. So we'll go ahead and start talking a little bit about the guidelines and things that we're going to be doing. So we've got a little card here that we're going to be kind of demonstrating and talking through. I would say it's not super up to par with maybe Cardmaker standards.
Everything that you've seen during the Cardmaker Success Summit, but it's still a good card.
Exactly, yes.
And it's free on the Bearly Art website. We've got a number of cards you can cut out. So if you have a Cricut or a Silhouette, you can use those, download those, and you can donate them. We'll make it easy for people who maybe don't make cards as often, or want to try out those, cutting machines more than like their stamps and dies.
Exactly, yes.
We do have a stamp here today.
We do have one stamp. We've upgraded our stuff.
Yes. And this card, it follows the CFC guidelines for making cards. So we have 5 guidelines for cards that are being donated every year. And number 1 is birthday encouragement. So this card is going to be a birthday card, but it's got a blank sentiment, so you can put whatever you would want. But birthday card or encouragement card, those are the only 2 we really take. And then we would pack them in bundles of 10. So it doesn't have to be the same 10 cards, but 10 birthday cards or 10 encouragement cards. And that's going to help us count up all of the donated cards because we are volunteer based. So it makes it easier for our volunteers. I'll also be pairing with envelopes. So the envelope doesn't have to match the card, but it does need an envelope that has about the appropriate size.
By match, we mean color, right?
Yeah.
But it needs to be about the right size.
Yeah. And then on the inside, it'll be like a short or blank sentiment. So if I put the stamp on the inside, that's fine. But otherwise, we don't want people writing a lot in it, like a whole story and such, because that's really going to be up to the caseworkers to write something that's going to connect with the kid that they're giving it to. And last but not least, handmade. So, making it with the hand.
Exactly. Yes. And one of the common questions that we get too all the time is whether or not you can put your little stamp on the back of this, like made with or like made by so and so, right? That type of thing. As long as there's no direct contact information to you, you can put whatever it is that you want on the back of that. If it's something as simple as your first name and a city or something like that, that's fine. But no email addresses or ways to contact.
Phone numbers, no
Etsy,
email addresses.
Yeah. All those types of things. So we try to keep that part as clear as possible. But if you do have like a little stamp that's personalized to you, and maybe perhaps your company too, you can put that on the back there. That's perfectly fine.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I think that's everything in the guidelines part. So let's go ahead and get started making the card.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So this card is called the Positively Awesome card. Positively, like a PAW for a little puppy paw.
Little puppy paw here. Got a little dog here again. So all this was cut out with a cutting machine, the Cricut, right? And we have the files for you to download as well for this guy here too. So we're using standard 65-pound cardstock on this. And then I think this is, did we do a print and cut on this piece here?
We did do a print and cut on that one. And that design, that digital paper came from Creative Fabrica.
Yeah, so we got a little doggy here.
So we've got tiny little features. So if you want to use tweezers, that is a good idea because these are little bitty.
I will definitely be using tweezers because tweezers are my favorite thing in the world. So another common question that we get too is thickness. I know that a lot of for card makers, there's times where it doesn't quite fit, right? There is no set limitation on how thick it can be. But pretty much I would say is this: if it can fit in the envelope that you have, then you're probably pretty good.
Yeah.
If it can't fit in there, then or you can't find an envelope that will match, for instance, that size because it's too thick, then perhaps scale it down a little bit. We tend to go too thick sometimes, I think, because we like height and dimension because that comes from a lot of the Cricut, from the Cricut world of things. And of course, while we're doing this here, we'll talk a little bit about Cards for Cubs and kind of how we got started.
Yeah.
So Cards for Cubs was started, well, the first time that we did it was in 2020 was when we first had our I guess the very beginning days, the early stages before Cards for Cubs was even a nonprofit. We were still associated with Fairly Art. And of course, obviously, we're from Fairly Art too, so I know it gets a little confusing on that side of it. But CFC, Cards for Cubs, is its own official nonprofit as of this point. But we weren't always that way. What we had done is that at the very beginning, we're trying to find ways of connecting all of the good that our customers and things would use from our, of course, our precision craft glue that we sold, and trying to find something good to do with that. And by happenstance, we kind of landed on a card drive, because that was something that people can make, very generous, use their scraps, right? And it was something that could do a lot of good. And at the time, the co-founder's wife, my friend Matthew, his wife was working as a caseworker for a foster care agency at the time. And she mentioned, okay, well, what about if we did a card drive for for kids that are in foster care, right? For the people that she worked with on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where all the little things kind of got connected from that point on. That first year, we collected about 7,000 cards in the first year. And that was just the only thing that we said at the time is we promised that if you send us cards, we'll give cards to kids that are in foster care. And at the time, it was really just we were going to only send it to, this one organization that she worked for.
Mhm.
But with that many cards that we had received, we ended up sending it to a lot more than just her organization. And so we kind of scrambled a little bit to try to get them all out to different organizations that we could, start making those connections. Fast forward to last year, as we kind of teased earlier when we were talking about the numbers, is that last year we raised 69,900 cards from around 2,000 card makers at the time. And so we're very thankful for all of you. And about, every year it's about 10% come from CMSS. So we're very thankful for all of you. We're thankful for Brandy too for hosting all this and getting the word out. And last year we actually had, every year we're kind of collecting, like we weren't able to send out all the cards every year because the organizations that we were talking with and the people that we're trying to connect with, we weren't finding the right people that were in need. Like we weren't finding them fast enough, right? And
Mhm.
oftentimes, as you know, for foster care, they're just very bogged down. The caseworkers themselves are very bogged down. So it takes a lot of effort for us to make those contacts, find the right people, and for them to be like, okay, yes, I see how we can use these cards or what we can do with them, etc. So we made a lot of connections last year, and we sent out about double the amount that we would typically send. So we sent about 900 cases out, which was probably around 100,000 plus cards that year. It was a lot. And so, fast forward to where we are now, and we're, of course, our own nonprofit, and we're hoping every year our goal that we try to collect is 100,000 cards, because that's about the number of cards that are fluctuating in and out of foster care at any given point or for every year. So
Right.
that's what we're trying to do now. And just thanks for, watching this and being with us. And hopefully this will help inspire you to either make cards or maybe participate in some other ways.
There are 3 founders to CFC.
Yes, indeed. There are 3 founders to CFC. It's myself, it's Matthew Turner, who is the other co-founder of Barely Art, and it is his wife, Sarah Turner, as well. And so the 3 of us are the co-founders, and we just try to figure out different ways of connecting with card makers, especially, and connecting with those foster care agencies. So if you are familiar with foster care agencies or the space, or if you're familiar with foster care and adoption, ask if they've heard about CFC, because what we do is that we provide all these cards for free to them, right? So they just have to go onto our website, cardsforcubs.org. They do a little sign up thing. We verify that they are who they say they are, and then we ship the cards. I mean, that's pretty much all it is. They don't pay shipping or anything like that. We get all of our monies from volunteers and donations to make sure that everything is literally free for them, right? For the foster care agencies.
And I know a lot of you guys are obviously card makers, so you're
Yes.
probably going to be donating cards. But if you have a friend or people you know that would just want to donate to the cause and maybe they don't have time or don't make cards, we have other options of supporting Cards for Cubs. So if you go to cardsforcubs.org, you'll find on the, I believe, the right side of the menu, it says donations. So there's one-time donations where, just as is one-time donation amount. There's also a monthly donation, so you can just kind of subscribe basically to that, and then it'll just every month charge you a little bit, whichever number you put in. And then we also have sponsor case. So sponsor case is special because it's quite literally sponsoring the box that we're sending to the foster
Right,
care
yes.
agency. So we send, I believe, 150 cards in a case. That's like the amount that they'll put in. The foster agencies will order, like if they order 2 cases, they're getting 300 cards, birthday or encouragement. And that sponsoring a case pays for the shipping. So again, foster
Right.
agencies don't have to pay a penny. They just get this beautiful box of cards to give to their kids and young adults. And so sponsor a case costs about $20 per case, right?
$20 per case, yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So if you want to sponsor a case, you can get also a little gift back as
Yes,
well.
indeed.
So if you sponsor one case, which is $20, you can get some stickers.
Mm-hmm.
If you sponsor 2 cases, you'll get a mug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And,
We always kind of forget a little bit, so we're trying to remember ourselves.
yeah, and then if you sponsor 3 cases, you can get the journal, and 4 cases a tote, and 5 cases, which is $100. So it's $20, 20, 40, 60, 80, and then 100 is a T-shirt.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
the mug, journal, tote, and T-shirt all have a saying. It says, "Ask me how crafting can make a difference," and that's so we can get the conversation started. If you are carrying that tote around, wearing that T-shirt, someone might be able to ask, "Well, how does crafting make a difference?" And you get to tell them all about Cards for Cubs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a great way to show off and support for Cards for Cups. And if you don't want to do that, right? If you don't want to get a gift, there's another little section down below where it says donate without a gift. Or of course, you can choose monthly donation or one-time donation as well. So we try to make it easy for you too, depending on how it is that you would like to donate. And again, for most of the people in CMSS, we the thing that we need the most obviously is going to be
Cards.
right. So don't feel like this. No way is this pressure to donate or anything along that line. What we really need is those cards to be sent in. If you are inspired by us and would like to donate cards, go to our website, cardsforcubs.org. You can sign up for that card maker section there as well. And if you scroll down into the little thing, you'll see a little thing that says card makers. You can sign up right there. You'll get all the information. I know at this point in time when this actually is released too, it's going to be a little bit on the later side of things. So you're only going to have
About 10 days or
10-ish
so
days.
before our deadline, because we accept card donations from March 1st to March 31st. We have a 1-month window to get the cards in, because again, we're volunteer based, so we kind of need everything in at once so we can start
Yeah.
making that progress as we go. So March 31st is the deadline, but you guys are probably making a lot of cards if you're watching
Yes, indeed.
the Card Maker
Mhm.
Success Summit. So if you want to donate those
Mhm.
or make a couple extra,
Right.
then send them in. We'll take them.
Oh yes, absolutely. We will definitely take them. So yeah, there's a lot of different things they can do to help out with that too. So however it is that you feel the need to volunteer or help in any of those ways, there is a lot of different things that you can do. Just check out our website, cardsforcubs.org. We also have some resources for you too on that website as well. We have the stamp collection or the digital stamps.
Yeah, the digi stamps.
The
So that's
digi
like
stamps there
the
as well.
free download where you can print. They're in color and they're also in just like the line art, so you can color them in if you are like the alcohol ink marker type of person. You want to color those in yourself, you are more than welcome to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We got that. And then, of course, we have some of our resources. So where was this card again? Remind them.
This card specifically is on the Bailey Art website, bailey.art. We're going to start transitioning some of those cards to CFs, the cardsforcubs.org. But currently, all of our downloads, our cutting downloads, are on the Bailey Art website. So
Yes.
this one's the Positively Awesome card.
Positively
We also
awesome.
have other cards, such as this balloon birthday card. It's so cute. We made it on a live I think last week, but
Mhm, yeah.
probably further now that we're talking about it in the past. But this one actually on the Bailey Art website, it cost $5. What does it really cost? It is a donation. So if you purchase this $5 card for the digital file, with the cutting file, that $5 will be donated to Cards for Cups.
Yes.
So that's an option as well.
Yep. And also on the Barely Art website too, if you just like our products and buy on there as well, the tip box will go directly to Cards for Cups too.
Very
Yes.
true.
So on that little checkout there, that's what we save it for, and that's all we use it for. It's not like we're not trying to get you with another tip or something. We understand that things are expensive, but that's just our little way of donating.
So we got all those options so you guys can support Cards for Cubs. And of course, there's also the Card Maker Success membership.
Yes, it is.
So if you're on here, you probably know a little bit about that, more than we do. Or you can talk to Brandy herself, and I'm sure she can explain all about how you can join that. And they're really awesome. This year she mentioned that they have been doing like monthly challenges, and then I believe it's monthly challenges, like a number of cards, and they send them into Brandy, and then she'll send them to us this month, March, which is awesome. So lots of ways for you to keep being an amazing card maker and also support Cards for Cubs.
Yes, indeed. And what will happen with your cards, right? So that's the next question that people typically have is what happens with my cards after I send them in? Well, first of all, to send them in, you have to sign up. So make sure you're signed up on that donation form. The reason why is because we want to be able to keep track of everyone's information and have all of their cards and be able to record everything. If you end up sending, like we said before, the official end date to get them in is the 31st. So it doesn't give you a whole lot of time. It's, a couple, less than 2 weeks out from when this airs. Doesn't give you a whole lot of time there, but that's okay. It's just if for some reason it comes a little bit later, we're not going to throw away your cards or anything along that lines. It just might not end up in that official count. What happens after that is we collect all the cards here. So we'll have all of our, if we have what we had last year, it would be 69,000 cards. We have all those cards here. And then what we do is we have one day of sorting that we go and we get a lot of volunteers from our local campus or local college,
Mm-hmm.
and they take all the cards and they sort them all in a day. So
Yeah.
that's our goal. So if your cards are coming in later than that, then they might not even end up on this count. They might end up on next year's count, different things. But just try to make sure to get those cards in as soon as you can if you are a little bit behind, to make sure that they actually can get where they're going at that point. Once we package up all the cards, that's when we start contacting our foster care agencies and any agencies that are affiliated with foster care as well, so that they can place their orders in. So if you know someone like we were talking about before that is in that space, let them know. Let them know it's a free service. Most organizations just don't know that this is something that's available to them. And again, we try to make it completely free for them.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Got a little puppy here. Mine's a little high-eyed.
Reminds me like the basset hound.
Yeah, a little basset hound. Yeah. All right, so we're not talking too much about this because all of it's pretty straightforward in terms of what we're gluing up and where we're putting all these little pieces. It's just a nice little puzzle for you. That's all it is. So we're going to glue this guy on here. I'm sure you've learned a lot of really good techniques and things being here on
Absolutely.
CMSS. So I'm sure all your techniques are well surpass ours in this regard, but we have a lot of different levels of creativity, I would say, when it comes to our cards, right? We just try to make sure that all our cards are handmade. That's the main thing that we want to do. We don't want to do, and the reason why we do that is because we don't necessarily want to have store-bought cards, because it doesn't show that level of personalization, right? Of course, an agency can go and buy a pack of, 100 cards, right? But we're
Yeah.
trying to give them an extra little right? And again, the cards that we're making here are going to the foster care agencies. So the foster care agencies are actually the last leg, the last step in the trip of the cards getting to the kids in foster care. So what we ask for them is that they can fill it out however they want. So if there's a child's birthday that's coming up, if there is something having to do with an encouragement opportunity for them, or if of course, they're going through a rough time as well. If they have any opportunity to make that connection, we ask that they will be the ones to fill in the last little bits of everything and not necessarily us, right? So that's why we're asking for them to be blank or just a short sentiment inside, so that they can personalize the card to make sure that it's appropriate for that kid.
Right. He's so cute. The puppy is so cute. And then also, I know we touched on this a little bit ago, but I remember if you don't send cards in this March, that's okay. You can also store up your cards all year long.
Yes.
So a lot of times after March is over, we'll get messages from card makers and they'll say, okay, great, I'm going to start for next year now.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And we'll have people donating hundreds of cards at once. We're like, okay, well, how many other volunteers do you have? Oh, it was just me. It's just me. It's like, it was just you. Yes. Yeah. It's just me over the last, 8 months or whatever it was. Like, oh, okay. I see. Yes. That's how you were able to send in 400 cards or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah. And we also get asked too about, like, how do you mean by bundle, right? There's different ways that you can bundle it. We just want to make sure that it's bundled in a way that's not going to damage your cards. I think
Right.
this is probably less of a note for you guys as card makers, because you understand that cards are fragile, right? The most common ways I think that I would see from from you guys would be like either using like little paper bands and taping those up, or the little plastic sleeves or things like that. We typically try to stay away from like rubber bands and things because that seems to damage the cards a lot more.
Yeah, I like those paper kind of like ships around. That one's
Mhm,
really
yes,
good.
yes, for sure, yeah. The things that aren't going to damage your cards, because it is going to, you have to realize it will be shipped around a lot, right? Because it's
Right.
shipped from you guys, right, to us here at the Barely Art headquarters where we're collecting everything. And then from that point, it gets shipped again to the agency. And then that point, it's going to then be not necessarily shipped, but then delivered from the foster care agency or the CASA worker, um, or the CPS worker, um, to then the kid.
Right.
So it's gets moved around a lot. And sometimes, depending on the organization, there might even be another step in that. Right. So we also work with another company called, or another nonprofit called Comfort Cases.
Hmm.
And so if your cards end up at Comfort Cases, that's another level of sorting and shipping and things. So we're just trying to make sure that when you have those cards, just make sure that they're all bundled up, um, that they're safe, and then that they're packaged well. We'll take them out of well, not take them out of the bundle, but we'll take them out of your original packaging, of course, and put them in a different packaging. Um, but just make sure that the cards themselves are secure in some way or another.
Right.
Mhm.
And then again, just in case you guys weren't writing the guidelines down, we'll say them again because
Yes.
I know this is going to be live for you guys. So if you're donating cards, you're going to want to make cards that are themed birthday or encouragement. So celebrating you, happy B-Day, things like this. They'll also be in bundles of 10, so 10 cards with 10 envelopes. That's a third one, pair it with an envelope. And when you're packing your cards and envelopes, don't put your card completely inside the envelope. That will make it harder for our volunteers to start counting them. So just you can put it like this and just have the top of the envelope flap over it. Or you can pack your 10 cards and your 10 envelopes and just kind of put it as like stacked up together.
Yeah, and we do sort and filter through all the cards as well, make sure that they're appropriate for kids and young adults
Mhm.
in the foster care, in foster care. So that's the other reason too why we don't want them all inside. Like when I say protect, don't like bubble wrap them all together or something like that, because we still have to open it to make sure
Right.
that those cards are appropriate. So make sure they're secure but easily accessible so that we can look through them and go from there, because we are all volunteer based. And whenever our volunteers are looking through them, they don't want to have to keep cutting things open. They might cut your cards and things like that.
Right.
So just make sure that it is secure but accessible.
Yeah. And the next guideline would be a short or blank sentiment on the inside. So if I wrote here, "You're positively awesome," that's good, but I don't want to write a whole story. Or you can just keep it blank, and that's perfectly fine. And the last, of course, is handmade. Look at it, we did it. It's so cute.
There he
The
is.
little doggy card. Remember, this one is a download free on the website barely.art called the Positively Awesome card. And so those are the guidelines. Birthday encouragement, bundles of 10, paired with envelopes, short or blank on the inside, and handmade.
Our
Yay!
5 requirements, yes. And of course, just as a quick reminder too, if you have a little stamp, you can put it right here. Just make sure that there's no direct contact information due, including like websites, phone numbers, the full address,
Right.
those types of things. So just make sure there's no contact information that go direct to you. But if it said like, it was loved by Karen or whatever it is, you can do that too.
And our deadline for getting those cards is March 31st. So if you've made a bunch of cards and you're so happy but you don't have to do them, we'll take them. So you can just send them in. You can go to our website, cardsforcubs.org, and check out the card registration. You'll send it in with a donation form. So if you're looking for the address of where you're sending it to, when you pledge your cards, you'll get a donation form that will have that information, your information, as well as the number of cards you pledged, and you'll put that into your box when you send it. That way we can scan them in and make sure everything's right. So if you like said, I was going to make 20 but I actually made 30, you can update that on your account. Or, if our volunteers catch it before you do or after you do, then we'll just adjust it on ours. So you'll just put that donation form and it'll have the Cards for Cubs HQ address.
Yes, indeed.
All right, and I think our time is just about up
I
here.
think we did pretty good on time.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. We're really excited. We hope you enjoyed the card, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the Card Maker
Success Summit. We're so happy to be here with you. Thank you, Brandy, for joining, or for letting us join you this year again, and always supporting Cards for Cubs.
So appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
They are so cute together. I love watching them make cards, especially Jeremy, because you know he's he's not into making the cards, but he's an awesome person. He is such an awesome person. So y'all go and check out that SVG file if you're a Cricut user, and that's a perfect example of the type of card that you can make really quickly and send that in. So just to remind you guys, the deadline to submit cards to Cards for Cubs is this month, the 31st. So get your cards in as quickly as possible. Make sure you go to their website and you have to register and you have to tell them how many cards you're pledging, and then package that up with your package and then send that on. So I know that we sent 6 boxes a couple of weeks ago, and it was a bit. So I had cards coming out of my ears because I've been storing them since December. And we're going to turn around and do that right again in April with our membership. So if you decide to join the membership, which will be opening the doors probably in the next month, you can be a part of that. And you can actually you can send your cards in to me all year long, and then I box it up in March and then send it on. So. All right. Well, I think that is it. That is all we have for this session. We've got Pink and Main coming in at 8 o'clock, and it's just a few minutes away. So head on over to the schedule page at cardmakersuccesssummit.com/schedule to find the link to the Pink and Main session, where we have Libby Hickman, I believe is her last name, and she's going to show us some really cool cards as well. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you over in the other studio.